Dr. Mimmie and Dr. Watts walking in. First of all, I want to say she's a lovely, lovely individual that I've come across. We always bump into each other at events, South Asian, African, name it. She's across the global village that Dr. Bella was talking about. Yeah, he was talking about a global village. Before I introduce her qualifications, how smart she is and everything, I want you all to give her a good round of applause to both of them. So it's quite long, but I'm going to say, I want you all to hear how smart she is. Dr. Mimmie is PhD from La Trobe, tertiary education, Victoria, Melbourne, MPH, it's all the terminology, she's smart. And College of Health of Biomedicine, and then she's the public health expert and academic in the College of Health and Biomedicine at Victoria University, Melbourne, Australia. She's also the course leader for Bachelor of Health Sciences, and she has significant roles within the outside of the university. And in October 2015, she was appointed as one of the 6 new commissioners to the Victoria Multicultural Commission. She's interested in migrant health and the health of minority persons, improving the health needs for women, providing better education for disadvantaged persons, and increasing opportunities amongst disadvantaged groups, actually which is the central to Dr. Mimmie Watts' work. In 2014, she wrote the Bachelor of Health Sciences course for Victoria Uni, which is currently being offered, and the philosophy of her teaching are drawn from the ACTap strategies in education. I hope she will talk about it more. That focuses on the learner, the knowledge and skills the learner brings to the education environment, and from her own national and international experience. I would like to invite her onto the stage so she would discuss.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for being here, and I apologize for coming now, but I had told Mr. Ekene that I'm going to be a bit late because we had the celebration of the Cameroon National Youth Day in Collingwood, where I am actually based at the moment as an education institution. And you can imagine, of Cameroonian background, if there is a Cameroonian youth event and I am not there, it is really not fair for the community. So, but they say if you deliver twins, you have to wash both of them. So I had to be on both sides.
That's
so
right.
Thank you for inviting me, Mr. Ekene, but also for the wonderful guests who are in this room today. I also want to acknowledge the indigenous people of the land upon which we stand, and elders past and present, but also the elders from the diverse communities who are here with us. Could I really acknowledge Mr. Ekene Adeneyi himself, whom I think Adeneyi, something that defines you is resilience. Yes. And is that true? He's very committed, he's very resilient, and he just focuses on what he wants to achieve, but also working with other people in order to make that happen. So I'm profoundly proud of you, but you know that I'm always very committed and I'm a very passionate fan of you. So thanks for inviting me, but I think you really deserve a round of applause. Dr. Tanaya, who has generously introduced me, thank you very much, and we'll keep meeting. You're a beautiful person, and thanks for making this happen. But in any organization, you need that solid woman behind the scenes. And Dr. Tanaya.
Absolutely.
I'm not biased. Mr. Sheikh Jabate, we met as well, and I know you're also another very passionate about our communities, and it's good to see you here. My good friend, Dr. John Bellavance, where's Anne? When I see John, I don't see Han, I'm not happy. So I'm not going to talk too much to you tonight. John, you are such a committed person to the African communities, and something that I always like to acknowledge is that you and a group of other people actually made what we call today Australia Day happen in Australia. And if people don't know that, he is one of the brains behind that. And I know from UPF you were supporting and you worked with a few other community people to make that happen. And today is such a big event that Even last year we had the Premier of Victoria attend. But this is why they say big things start like this, they start small. Dr. Moses, I know your commitment with young people, but also in the fashion. So sometimes I think whether he's an academic or he's in the fashion industry, but you don't move forward without bringing others along. So it's really good to see you there, but also one of the elderly statesmen of the Nigerian community come to support the next generation. I think your presence here is very symbolic, but it's also very important. The Mayor, Councillor Jonathan Marsden, thanks for hosting and being, providing the space for this to happen, because if you don't have a house, nothing is going to happen. So thanks for providing the home for this. And Mr. Jeff Osanyende, whom I've happened to meet in so many spaces. Again, you're one of those passionate community people who is out there. Lots of people like you, they do a lot of work, things that people don't see, but I know that lots of us will see and we do admire your work. So thank you as well. And all the guests in this room, thanks for making it out here. And thanks to my husband, Dr. Watts, who's kindly driven me. We've got the children on the other end, and I said, I have got to watch my other twin child. So we had to come over, and Chris is always very committed to support my community work. So when Adenei invited me about ACTap, I asked myself, what the hell is ACTap? And I've been, I did. And I know that I had been to another event of his, but I do so many of the events. So, but there are people that it doesn't matter, I do my best to try to be there. And I remember when I told him last week that I'm going to Africa, even the Cameroonian community. I had a meeting with them Friday a week, and I said, I'm heading to Africa, but I'll be back for the weekend. They thought I was joking. So I got off the plane in the early hours of this morning. And yeah, I was in Cape Town. I arrived Cape Town on Sunday. I had the Indaba mining on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I went back on the next flight on Thursday, and I got home in the early hours, and of course Dr. Watts picked me up from the airport. So we got home about 1 a.m. this morning or something like that. So I had the benefit of sleeping in a little bit for a few hours today. So I'm really awake and I'm alert right now. But I thought it was really important for me to be at this event because I had committed myself to Adenei, and you don't commit when you're not going to support the person. Today is special. Why is it special? It is special because we are supporting one of our own, but it is also special because it is an initiative like this that helps to bring many of our people from the diverse multicultural communities today. As I said earlier, I was celebrating Youth Day with the Cameroonian community, and it's all about youth. And when you think about ACTap, the vision is also a vision of inclusion, and it's a vision of development. It is a vision about preparing and helping the next generation. So I'm incredibly proud to be a part of it, but I'm incredibly happy that we have somebody who sees the vision or see something in young people such that they are very prepared to invest themselves, but also to invest their time to make it happen. It's not often that people invest in things like this because unfortunately, especially from my many diverse communities of African communities, tell me if I'm wrong, many people will not engage if they don't see the immediate benefit. And I think that is the worst approach.
Yeah.
And also, when you take a step back in our history of colonization, almost like the trust factor is happening. And people tend to want to be followers rather than just to also lead. And others want to be leaders but not to be followers. But I think if you want to be a very good leader, you have to also be a good follower. And if you want to be a follower, you should also at some point put yourself up for leadership. And I think Mr. Adenei is doing that in that he's conceptualized this, he's brought in a group of other talented people to work with him to see this vision through, but also he sought to us in this room to support him and to make it happen. So for me, it is absolutely important that we help you to see this vision happen, but also that we help to not only spread the word, but to engage other communities. When you think about the diversity, especially within our communities, the richness of that diversity, and here I'm going to focus on the diverse African communities, because we are now counting over 90,000 people who identify in the state as having been born in Africa. That is a significant population. And when you look among those communities, yes, we've got some groups that have been here for 2-3 decades, but then we also have the new emerging groups who have been here for the last 10 years, maybe 15 years, etc. But there are also newer communities that are emerging. Something though that we all share in common is the uniqueness of being from the motherland of Africa. And I think that is something that some people think it is a disadvantage. I always see it as an advantage and something we should be proud of, something that we should embrace. And organizations like this provide a platform for young people in particular who are sometimes struggling with their identity to start embracing their identities, but also to start accepting who they are. And if you're a young person of African background, growing up in Australia and in Victoria in particular, I would not say there is a better time, but last year was a very difficult time, pre-elections for the African communities. We need to acknowledge that. And how do you build the confidence for a lot of our young people if we don't embrace them, but if we don't show the capabilities that exist within them, if we don't harness their potential? A lot of our young people are very talented, and sometimes it saddens me that so much attention is being directed at a minority few. I wish such attention was given, or even half of that attention was given to the many talented, successful people from our diverse community. But for me, all hope is not lost. That is why in this room, I don't only have people of African background. In this room, I have everybody, because you have the other voices, which is all of you here, and many more who are not in this room, that know that the African people and the African youth are generally good people. They make a contribution to the society, they make a contribution to Victoria, and they make a contribution to our nation, and something that we should be incredibly proud of. In terms of value adding, because when you talk about youth, and when you talk about a group like ACTap, I know people think music, people think fashion shows, but for me, I think beyond the topical issues. I think we think about the skill sets that exist within our young people. Some of them are fashion designers. Some of them are entrepreneurs. They've started their own, startups that are thriving and they are successful. But others are mentoring out young people. I have come across young people who are actually making hair products here. And now they are marketing it, but they are teaching their mothers how to look after their natural African hair. If you meet 20 African women, 15 have a wig on or something, and I know that I keep my hair natural, guess what? It's my children that empowered me to go natural and to go Afro. You think it is the other way around. Why? Because when I grew up, my parents were born in the colonized era, right? So for them, they believed in the straight hair because that is what they were told. They were brainwashed. And as us children, we grew up, we had to also look in a certain way. There are times I have my afro out and I say, if my father were to turn around his grave and see me go to work like that, he'll be like, oh my God, what happened to my daughter? But that is because I've become an empowered woman myself. But that is because then, as a result, I've been able to empower my own children, that now I am able to actually learn from them. And my children are not unique. They are just one of the many African young kids born here or born overseas that are doing a lot with the talents that they have, but also showing their capabilities. Another important thing with this talent night that I think you really want to also draw on is the young people and the groups that are in academic institutions. Some are studying architecture, so, because that is all talent, you know? some are studying home designs. Some, the diversity is, you cannot put it together. However, we tend to forget, and our children are being made to not be aspirational. It kills their confidence, but having a platform like this provides an opportunity for young people to see themselves not only being here, but being able to achieve their potential, but also reaching higher heights. And I am hoping that in the next few years, when I walk into this room or elsewhere, the room is going to be filled not just with young people, but with all the different people from the diverse African communities. Because one of the things that we need to do as a community is to support events like this. And that is why from the Multicultural Commission, when you invited me, I made sure that it went to the Commission, because then it is on our public record as well. So that the day I'm not there as a commissioner, some other person has it on record that we had this event, the Commission supported it, we had a presence, and that this is something that we should continue to support. But that also means it allows me to be able to give feedback, to talk about what type of an event it is and why I think we should be supporting people like this. I think the beauty of being part of the Commission is that you walk sometimes into a room that has 1,000 maybe business people. Then you walk into another room that has maybe 5 refugee women or 5 men who are cleaners or 6 academics. And that diversity tells you something about that society that we live in, or the society that we live in. It thrives, it is rich, but also we as Victorians tend to embrace each other and see people from a positive perspective rather than what the media tends to paint. It doesn't mean that we don't have the few people who are disengaged, but I also say we should then go back and say, why is it that these people are not engaging? What is happening within their personal lives, but also within the social networks around them, because something has broken. And having a talent group provides a platform where young people can actually identify with something. People have seen why some even, and I hate to quote radical groups, but some of the reasons that they say they attract young people is that it gives them some sort of a platform or some sort of a sense of belonging. That is not what we want. What we want is to have a group like this that provides people not just a real sense of belonging, but actually acknowledges their capabilities, actually supports them. And I think beyond this, maybe you should be then thinking about how do you have patrons who sponsor you to sponsor some young people at events like this, but also to be able to be high achievers. So there are a lot of institutions here in Victoria, but one of the things that we are doing, and I know that when Dr. Tanayat introduced me, she talked of Victoria University. Everybody still associates me with Victoria University. But I left a year ago, but I was there for 11 years. I'm now at Melbourne Polytechnic, where I'm setting up the Institute of African Studies. And setting up the Institute of African Studies is actually a big task, but it is an honoring task for me. And like when I did the Bachelor of Health Science at VU, nothing I like more than having a white paper to work on, because it just makes my brains work in every angle, but also to be given a platform to try to develop programs from certificate right through to degree, it doesn't come any better than that. But then that also means it is about empowering the next generation of tomorrow. And just to take you a step back in regards to the institute, there are 4 key overarching areas that we want to focus on. One is teaching and learning, the other is research, the other one is linkages, and the other one is programs. And in terms of programs and linkages, events like yours really fit within that, because it is about harnessing that talent, it's about cultivating young people, but also providing a safe space where young people can gather, where they can have events, but where they can show up to not just learn the academic skills, but also to just meet and interact with other young people who may be doing a similar thing. So I want to applaud tonight, but also to say, ACTap, the mission is excellent. The vision is wonderful, but that I think many of us in this room are here to support, and they said quality is better rather than quantity. And I think here you've got a coalition of the willing, and I hope that by the end of tonight, the support that all of us can collectively give you is going to just take this to the next step. And then next year, we're going to gather, but as I said, you're one of the most resilient people that I know. You're always very committed. You know exactly, you're very talented, and congratulations on the gig that I saw that you've got now on TV. And you know, I cannot list the endless achievements. Yeah. So thank you all for being here tonight, and from the VMC, I think this is an event that we should continue to support, and I am very grateful and honored to be here to share the evening with you and to be a part of a very special night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mimmie, for that wonderful speech, encomium, and encouragement. Please put your hands together for Dr. Mimmie again. Dr. Mimmie is someone that really supports the community and really put her family into what she's doing. Thank you so much, Dr. Watts, for coming, and we are happy to have you here, despite the fact that she traveled all the way from the other side to get here today, and also arriving from Africa yesterday. We really appreciate you, and we'll talk more about that. And please, we want you to open your door for us at the VMC, because we are coming back very soon with all this talent.
Our community lives, events, people, places, multicultural, sports, news, peace promotion, security, religious activities, children programs, human rights, asylum seekers and refugees, politics, health, African culture, entertainment, education, Australian culture, and lots more. Our community lives, produced, directed, and hosted by Adeniyi Ekine. Our community lives, #1 African Australian multicultural and human rights program, only on this station.
Keep watching our community lives on this station.
Keep watching our community lives.